Amanda with Straightsmile Solutions, straightsmilesolutions.com. We're going to do another video on neurodivergence, specifically neurospicy dentists. Masked versus unmasked, what does that mean? And this is probably not going to be interesting to anyone unless you think you're possibly neurodivergent or unless you're learning to learn more about neurodivergence. Now, I'm going to let you know, though, again, I had no idea, like zero idea that I was neurodivergent. And I've watched all those kind of like autism TV shows, like when I was learning more about it, Love on the Spectrum, Good Doctor, Atypical, stuff like that. There's plenty that go out and say that their characters are neurodivergent, although I think they're not the best representation of it. It's very severe. It's not actually how most people are going to present. So if you're looking for that, you're not going to find it. There's also plenty more TV shows where the people are definitely neurodivergent. They just never say it. Those are the ones that are more subtle. Those are the ones you want to watch. So anyways, I'm not going to get into that because I don't memorize those TV shows and I got better things to do. But in any case, remember, if you check ChatGPT, it's estimated that 19% of Americans are neurodivergent. 19%. That means 1 in 5 dentists are neurodivergent. I personally think it's way higher than that because I think it's one of those specialties that attracts neurodivergent people. There's so many features of dentistry that would attract a neurodivergent person. So, and to be honest, I didn't know I was neurodivergent. And the reason I picked dentistry over going to med school was not my grades. I actually had the grades and scores. I totally could have got in. I picked it because I really liked moving teeth. And then also I thought that orthodontics would be better hours for me. I knew that I turn into a pumpkin at 6 p.m. every night or 7 p.m. Like I full on turn into a pumpkin. There's no way I could have gone to med school and done call at all weird hours. I don't care what caffeine I take. I'm non-functional in the evening. And there's nothing I can do to change that. I mean, I'm sure I could have taken stimulant medications. And I know now that there's medications that you can give neurodiverse people that can make them pep up and make their brains work. However, now that I tried those at age, whatever now, like I can't, it gives me high blood pressure and stuff. So I have to be an unmedicated neurodivergent person, which is fine. I've done this my whole life anyways. I have to make a lot of changes in my life so that, especially in the evenings, so that I can do what I need to do to be present for you guys during the day. So anyways, that's how it presents for me. But so it doesn't change anything in terms of what I can do and what I can't do and how I can be a dentist. It has nothing to do with that. Now, certainly I've done other content on neurodivergence and dentistry and how it can be hard. So, I mean, you have to be in the right kind of scenario with the right kind of team to be able to do this. And after going through, DSOs and stuff, no, definitely not. Private practice is really the only way to go. And I think you really have to be the one in control. So that's what I would say about that. Learn the hard way from me. Okay, so let's talk about masking versus unmasking. And I did not understand this concept at all. I didn't even know what neurodivergence was. Like I said, I've watched the TV shows. I thought autism was like all these guys that have Asperger's. Nah, females can present completely different. And there's plenty of males that also present differently. And you probably have tons of friends and family members who are, and they may know, and they most likely don't know. So when I tell you little tips here or things to look for, keep it in the back of your mind. I would say the vast majority of people have no idea that they are neurodivergent, and probably the dentists that you're working with don't know they are either. They may know something's not right, but they might think it's just their mental health. They may think that something's wrong with them. They may think it's their spouse. They might think it's their office. I'll be honest, for a while I thought it was my office. I didn't think it was me. And then I realized, shoot, the common denominator is me. It's me. So anyways, we all learn to mask, even neurotypical people, even those 80% of you who are neurotypical, you guys mask. I mean, there's sometimes when you have to come in and act a certain way, and it's variations of you, right? So I've got variations of me that are very social, very fun, like to party, like to go out. And I've got variations of me that hate all that stuff. And I never know what version of me is going to show up. And I could control it when I was younger a lot more. Like I could put myself up, be like, okay, Fun Amanda's showing up today. And I could turn Fun Amanda on. And then when I got home, Fun Amanda turned off. I can't do that anymore. I no longer can turn Fun Amanda. I mean, not without medications. Lots of different medications. And I have a polypharmacy I can take if I need Fun Amanda to show up, or if I need, I just don't like the side effects. So Fun Amanda generally doesn't show up that much anymore. Oh well, I'm 51. It's fine. Nobody wants to see her party anyways. So Okay, so that's what masking versus unmasking means. It just means your true authentic self underneath, which you might not even know who that is. Your spouse might not even know who that is. My true authentic self is actually quite shy, quite quiet, and pretty chill. Who knew? You guys don't hear that, right? Because I don't think that version of me could have this business. So I have to be fun, Amanda, in order to have this business. But it's definitely still a part of me. It just doesn't always show up. And I can't always control when it's going to show up. So that's what I wanted to explain to you. That's why it gets harder when you're a dentist in your 40s and 50s. Once those hormones, especially for females, that are able to help you mask and unmask quickly wear off. What are those hormones? All your hormones that go away in your 40s and 50s. And there's a lot of them. Yes, HRT can help, okay, if you get HRT, but it doesn't fully. I mean, your body before could adjust hormones as needed. So what ends up happening is your adrenals take over and the cortisol takes over, and you feel like you're a walking pile of cortisol all day long. And that's not a fun version of you. So I didn't understand that. But now that I understand that, it all makes sense, right? I can't mask and unmask quickly anymore. So I've got assumed unmask me is going to show up everywhere, although occasionally this person shows up. So I just take a lot more. For me, I just know that if I went back to practice, it would have to be more of an earlier hours, because that's when mask me can show up better than unmask me. Definitely can't go late. And I definitely couldn't work over 30 hours a week. Like, you have to be much shorter hours. And, that doesn't always work unless you have your own practice, right? You don't get full control over that. So now you guys understand the difference between masking and unmasking. I can tell you one other thing. And like I said, I'm not going to tell you my full diagnosis once I get it in a few weeks. It's my own personal business. I don't trust the United States government. Sorry, guys, I don't. And I don't want my business all over the internet. I'm just going to say I'm neurodivergent. I know, though, I do have one side effect called alexithymia, which is pretty common. Alexithymia is where something's wrong with your body, but you can't name it. Like, you don't know the fear or you don't know the emotion. So I'll feel something, and am I sad? Am I hungry? Am I angry? Do I have to use the restroom? Am I scared? Am I in danger? My body it takes me about 5 to 10 seconds to process what is the alexithymia, what's happening. Or this also doesn't have to do with me. It has to do with you guys. So if a friend comes up to me and tells me some bad news, my initial reaction might not be what you expect, because sometimes I'll ask, oh, can you repeat that? Because if people, even though I heard it, if I say, oh, excuse me, I didn't hear you, pardon me, if they repeat that, it gives me an extra 5 to 10 seconds to process it. And by then I have my emotion. And that has always been my going strategy, not knowing that this was alexithymia that was happening. It was just, I need more time to process this. And my mind is pretty quick. It's only emotions that I need time to process. I don't need time processing anything else. I have an answer real fast. I'm quick. So that was one really cool thing, because a lot of times people think either I'm emotionless, and I've had that, like, wow, you're not very empathetic. No, it's not that I'm not empathetic. I'm deeply empathetic. Like, I feel for you. I just feel for you after the fact, and then I'm all sad for you, for a very long time. So I wanted to explain that to you, because some of you might feel that as well. So anyways, I did a kind of a AI overview, ChatGPT. I looked up being a dentist, being autistic, being the dentist, being neurodivergent versus medicine. And there's so much content about medicine, and there's nothing about dentistry, like nothing. There's literally one article from a journal called Dentistry, Life in Dentistry with Autism. And it was about some guy in the UK. And I'm going to read it after we're done, about growing up. Like, I guess he knew for a long time, and he's talking about acting normal, about masking. So he's talking about stimming, and he's talking about why he became a dentist. So I think this would be a really good article for you to read if you want to go and find this article. Again, title is Life in Dentistry with Autism. The journal is called Dentistry, and it's a UK journal. So you can take a look at that. Otherwise, like, literally, I'm the first content that's being made on this, which is absolutely insane. But I want to get the word out there, because every single day I'm looking at Facebook, I see dentists that are unsatisfied. And the first thing I'm thinking, are you neurodivergent? Because as soon as you recognize that, you can now make changes to make everything more satisfying in your life. And there may be little changes. And no, your spouse may not like some of the changes. Trust me, mine's not liking some of the changes I'm making. Going to bed earlier, not eating dinner super late. I mean, but all these little changes, just in terms of habits for me, have made me so much happier during the day. Holy cow. I mean, if you can do this without medications, just by making subtle changes in your life and be like way happier and without having to take any happy meds or anything like that that have side effects, this is awesome, right? Who knew? Anyways,